Well, hello Indie people, how you guys doing? I hope you're doing okay. Now today's video is me taking an online autism test to really show that you can be autistic, you can have an official diagnosis of autism, and basically these online tests may not be the correct method for actually getting a diagnosis, and just showing how kind of icky these online tests are. Now this is a collaboration with Samdy Sam, who is also taking this test, and her video will be at the end of this video and down below in the description box. Samdy Sam is doing great work over on her YouTube channel, and I highly recommend you checking her channel out because she is doing great stuff. But just as a general disclaimer before we get into this as well, if you identify with a question really strongly and you feel you could be on the spectrum or something like that, I always say seek medical advice, because just because you identify with one or two traits that could be autism does not necessarily mean that it is. With that being said, let's get into it. Okay, so this is the test. It is 50 questions, and the 4 answers that you can give are definitely agree, slightly disagree, and then definitely disagree. Question 1. I prefer to do things with others rather than on my own. I would say slightly I like being on my own. I like doing things with other people. I prefer my own company, so slightly disagree with that one. I prefer to do things the same way over and over again. Sometimes, not all of the time. No, I like my routines and stuff, so slightly agree with that one. I do like a bit of spontaneity. If I try to imagine something, I find it very easy to create a picture in my mind. In my mind, I can picture things. It depends what it is. That's probably the best way to answer that one. So, slightly disagree with that one. I frequently get so strongly absorbed in one thing that I lose sight of other things. That is me. That's me to a T on a candlestick, spinning around, listening to Beyonce. I often notice small sounds when others do not. I say slightly agree with that one because everything just seems a bit louder than what it really should be to me, so yes. I usually noticed car number plate or similar strings of information. Slightly agree. Yeah, by the way, when I read stuff out, it's always terrible. I like mix up words and whatnot. Like, that is just my life, so if that annoys you, I sincerely apologize. Slightly agree with that one. It's part of my job. I notice bits of information. If something sticks out, I just like instantly notice that it's there, you know, and I'm quite good with that sort of thing. Other people frequently tell me that what I've said is impolite, even though I think it is polite. Like I say things and don't really think about the consequences of saying them sometimes. Like, I am quite a polite person, don't get me wrong, but when you get to know me, I'm quite comfortable around you and stuff. It just all comes flooding out of my esophagus and then out of my hole in my mouth, so slightly agree. When I'm reading a story, I can easily imagine what characters might look like. See, I can imagine the place, but not really the people. So I'd say slightly agree. I am fascinated by dates. Not particularly, I'm more interested in the events of things, which just happen to include dates. So I guess that, again, it's a side of autism, like fascination with numbers and whatnot. Like I say, a lot of these questions are kind of like outdated a bit. When you're doing this test yourself, or if you ever choose to do it yourself, you know, just keep that in mind. In a social group, I can easily keep track of several conversations, several different people's conversations. I can keep track of conversations by multiple people. Absolutely not. Like, I can barely keep track of one person's conversation with the other noises around me a lot of the time, and I get easily distracted. And when 2 people are talking at the same time, oh, it is not good. So I find social situations easy. Depends what the situation is. I typically don't really like social gatherings and social situations, especially when I'm put on the spot. Slightly disagree with that one. I tend to notice details that others do not. Slightly agree with that one. Again, it's linked to the same. I would rather go to a library rather than a party. See, I like parties, but I think it's more about, would you prefer going to a quiet place over a louder place? Which I'd rather be in a quieter place so I can hear the conversations and stuff. So slightly agree, even though parties are more fun. I find making up stories easy. Slightly disagree. I can make up stories, but I don't find it necessarily easy. Like, I have to have like an initial thought and then just work on it from there. So I don't find it necessarily easy. I mean, even planning these videos out, I don't necessarily find the planning of it and like making the story, like the writing of the story, easy or whatever. I find myself drawn more strongly to people than to things. Oh, that's not an autistic thing. Nah, but I do kind of obsess a little bit over objects, so no, not slightly agree, slightly disagree. I tend to have very strong interests which I get upset about if I don't pursue. Strongly agree. I did a whole video about special interests. It'll be up there, just explain this whole thing. I enjoy social I can't even say it. Social chitter chatter, bandy da da da. Slightly disagree. When I talk, and not very well, mind you, it isn't always easy for others to get a word in edgeways. I don't like being the center of attention. Strongly disagree. I am fascinated by numbers. I guess I'd say so, but like, I'm not like a massive lover of numbers, so slightly agree. When I'm reading a story, I find it difficult to work out the character's intentions. I find it difficult just to work out other people's intentions based on what they say. I don't particularly enjoy reading fiction. I like reading fiction a lot. I do like factual stuff. Slightly disagree then. I find it hard to make new friends. Slightly agree, because when it comes just to socializing things, I just find it tricky, you know? I notice patterns of things all of the time. Strongly agree. I'd rather go to a theatre than to a museum. I like museums, but they kind of are a little bit boring, so I'd rather go to a theatre. But then again, theatres are kind of cramped and a bit noisy and a bit... Okay, I'd rather go to yeah, I would. It does not upset me if my daily routine is this. Strongly disagree. I hate my daily routines being disturbed. I frequently find that I don't know how to keep a conversation going. Slightly agree. It depends who I'm with. If I'm with like a new person, it's kind of easy to find stuff that they're interested in because you can just ask and then you can just latch onto something and then talk about it. But sometimes if the conversation ends, I don't know how to actually pick it back up again. So yeah, slightly agree. I find it easy to read between the lines when someone is talking to me. Even that phrase, reading between the lines, I don't know what the heck it actually means, so strongly disagree. I usually concentrate more on the whole picture rather than the small details. No, I kind of get fixated on like getting one little thing correct rather than actually seeing the whole thing. It's kind of hard for me to see the whole picture of things. Slightly disagree. I'm not very good at remembering phone numbers. Strongly agree. I only know my home number. I don't usually notice small changes in appearance. Not appearance, I read the bottom one, for God's sake. Small changes in any situation or a person's appearance. When it comes to people, I tend not to notice. Not because I don't care, but it's just not something I think about. I'll notice it maybe a week later or something. Slightly agree with that one. I know how to tell if someone listening to me is getting bored. Not really. Everyone's expressions are pretty much the same. I find it easy to do more than one thing at once. Not really. It's the multitasking thing. It's like the executive function inside of things. I prefer just doing one thing at a time, and that car was so distracting. If you didn't hear that, then that looked completely odd to you. I heard a car. When I talk on the phone, which is not really that often, to be honest, but I'm not sure when it's my turn to speak. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree with that one. It's hard because you can't obviously see the person that's going, give us my money. I enjoy doing things spontaneously. Now the thing is, I like plans, I like run routines and stuff, but I don't mind doing things that are like completely at left field as long as I've like got the choice. So slightly disagree. I am often the last person to understand the point of a joke, especially if it's a long-winded one. Yeah, absolutely. Like short and sweet, that'll do me. I mean, I'm short. No, I'm not really. I'm really tall, but I'm sweet though, so. Slightly agree. I find it easy to work out what someone is thinking or feeling just by looking at their face. No! I cannot. It is impossible. If there's an interruption, I can switch back to what I am doing fairly quickly. Slightly disagree. Like, if I'm in the flow of something and someone interrupts me, it's a bit like, I don't know how to get back into it, so. I'm good at social chit-chat. See, I can chit-chat with people, but it's just hard to sometimes. So, I slightly disagree. People often tell me that I keep going on and on about the same thing. Sometimes, not always. Like, I am kind of socially inept in that way. Like, if I'm fixated on something, I'll talk about it, but all of the time. Like YouTube and my charm and good looks, but that's besides the point. I don't know. Slightly agree. When I was young, I used to enjoy playing games involving pretending with other children. Right, so you're playing a game involving pretending with. Alright, so you like imaginary games. Okay, right, that makes sense. I know I didn't need to do that, but I actually needed to do that. That question is really, really confusing to me. I didn't really like it. I like to collect information about categories of things, i.e. types of cars, birds. Not really. I like looking at information, like my YouTube analytics, because I love talking about YouTube all of the time. But I don't really love collecting information about types of things. I find it difficult to imagine what it would be like to be someone else. Yeah, I like to carefully plan any activities I participate in. Yeah, I like knowing what I'm doing. I'm not meticulous in my plan, no. As long as it's a vague idea, I'm cool with that. I enjoy social occasions. I do and I don't. Most of the time, not really, so. Because it's just stressful. I find it difficult to work out people's, intentions, if people say to me, what do you think their intentions are? I don't know. I don't have a clue. New situations make you anxious. Yeah. It's funny, I'm actually planning to go to London and Manchester next year because I want to go to the autism shows. The thing with the London one is, I've only ever been to London once and I'm anxious as hell about it because I really want to go, but I'm going to be going on my own. That's the first thing. And I've only ever been on the London Underground once. I've never been to the place that I want to go to for the autism show, so I'm really nervous about it. I enjoy meeting new people. Yes, I do. I like meeting new people. It's just the social side of it, it's a little bit tricky sometimes. I am a good diplomat. I would say so. I'm not very good at remembering people's birthdays. I get confused between my mum's and my dad's. I don't actually know when my sister's birthday is. Literally anyone else, don't have a clue. I know when Paul McCartney's is, because it's the same date as mine, 18th of June. If you wanted to know. You probably didn't, you don't care. I'm rambling on. Okay. I find it very easy to play games with children that involve pretending. That's the same as the other one. Slightly disagree. So now, we are going to find out how I scored. What do you think I scored? I don't have a clue. Here we go. 39 out of 50. Your score was 39 out of a possible 50. Scores in the 33-50 range indicate significant autistic traits, and they spell autistic wrong. It's an autism quiz, an autism test, and they managed to spell autistic wrong. Oh, I love the internet. So there you go, that's how I scored on a random autism test on the internet. But if you want to know how a autistic female scored, there's your Samdy Sam's video, go and check it out right now. Or if you're brand new to my channel, there's a playlist that I recommend to you. But thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like for me down below, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Stay you, stay indie, I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you next time.